So Mahogany Woods from Bath&Body Works. This fragrance is actually back. All right. So they've brought back the fragrance that has been discontinued, I would say, for years now. That was really, really hard to find on sites like eBay. And whenever you could find this particular scent, it was normally going for, hundreds of dollars pretty much. And so, again, as you can see, they've brought this fragrance back. It comes in, I think, different packaging, at least for sure. The bottle looks different. But yeah, I think this is slightly different packaging than, what it was in before when it initially came out. All right. So this is what the box looks like. So we have here Mahogany Woods, by Bath&Body Works, men's collection. This is a cologne concentration, I believe. And then this is a 100 ml box, or a 100 ml bottle, I'm sorry. Up top, you don't really have anything except for kind of like this textured mahogany wood design. Same thing on the sides. All right, and then on the back, you've got like the ingredient information, stuff like that. And then just kind of like a brown sort of bottom down there. All right. And then once you get the bottle out of here, the bottle looks like they're more kind of like updated, Bath and Body Works fragrances. All right. So that's the difference that I noticed with this one. And you can see here the fragrance that I'm going to be comparing this to is Fragrance World's Hardwood. You can see there's definitely a resemblance for sure. All right. The Bath and Body Works fragrance, the bottle is definitely going to be a little bit taller. And also I would say it is going to be a little bit slimmer as well. But you can definitely see that, the Fragrance World is drawing the inspiration from the Mahogany Woods bottle from Bath and Body Works. All right. So just to get straight into, I guess whether or not it's worth it to go out and actually get the Mahogany Woods, or if you should, maybe just buy the Fragrance World version or hold on to the Fragrance World version if you have it. We're going to get into that. So before I do that, I'm just going to get into the notes. The notes for Mahogany Woods are, in the top notes, you have mahogany wood, blood orange, and red pepper. In the mid, you have cognac and clary sage. And in the base, you have bourbon, vanilla, amber, sandalwood, and tonka bean. So just a really, really nice, smooth, I would say kind of fall and winter time sort of fragrance. I definitely understand why this fragrance was so sought after, because for it to be, a cheap sort of Bath and Body Works fragrance, this is definitely a solid fragrance for sure, I would say. Now, in terms of the smell between these two, I was actually pretty surprised. So hardwood, when I got this fragrance, for the most part, I kind of felt like, this one was a moderately strong fragrance for the most part. It lasted a decent amount of time on me, and I was pretty satisfied with, the way that this fragrance smelled. And so with Mahogany Woods, I came into this, basically expecting for this to be like a watered down version of what the previous, like the original version used to be. Now, I've never smelled the original sort of formulation, that came out years ago of Mahogany Woods. So I can't say for sure whether or not this is, any sort of weaker or stronger than that particular formulation. But what I can definitely say is, despite this being a cologne concentration, this actually, in my opinion, performs better than the hardwood from Fragrance World. Hardwood on my skin anyway, it sits closer to the skin than what the Mahogany Woods does from Bath and Body Works. Now, that does make sense because this one is going to be an eau de parfum concentration. This is a cologne. So obviously with it having a higher sort of alcohol concentration, that is going to cause it to project a little bit more. But where I was really surprised at was the fact that this one also lasts pretty long as well. So both of these fragrances, at least on me, lasted 8 hours. And I was pretty shocked at that. I was expecting this one to pretty much fade completely away after maybe like 3 hours or something like that, with it being a cologne concentration. But that wasn't the case with the Mahogany Woods for me. With the Mahogany Woods, like I said, this one lasted, definitely just as long as what Hardwood did, except I felt like I could smell the Mahogany Woods better than I could the Hardwood from Fragrance World, which was actually pretty wild. The other thing that I can definitely say for sure is the cognac, the vanilla, the amber, I would say, and also the tonka bean, those sort of, sweeter and kind of boozier notes that you get from the fragrance, to me just seem to smell a little bit better and more sort of refined in the Mahogany Woods than what they did in the Fragrance World Hardwood. Which, again, I was definitely shocked because, again, I wasn't expecting this to be any better than what the Hardwood was. I really didn't. But there is, I would say, a difference for sure between the two fragrances. Now, again, I don't know how much different this is from the original formulation. I don't know if this is stronger than the original that came out. Maybe they're using different, ingredients now, and they've actually improved the, performance of this one. I don't know. But this is definitely not a weak fragrance at all. And it smells really, really amazing. It does. In the opening, I would say the blood orange as well in this fragrance, it comes off as being a lot more prominent, I would say, than the Fragrance World version. And I'm just going to spray the two on here. Now, what I can say is the Hardwood for sure has a much better sprayer than what the Mahogany Woods does. But yeah, man, I feel like overall, the Mahogany Woods is definitely better. Now, the Mahogany Woods in the opening, like the immediate opening, right when you spray it on, it does have a slightly more kind of like alcoholic, sort of blast to it. But again, that's due to it being a cologne concentration with a much higher, alcohol concentration than what the Fragrance World has. So yeah, the Fragrance World version, it does come off as, being smoother in the initial opening spray. So, I'll give the Fragrance World, credit there. But I would say once the two start to dry down, at least on my skin, from what I could perceive, the Mahogany Woods, it did smell better for sure. Now, here's the thing. So in terms of whether or not I would, recommend that you buy the Mahogany Woods over the Fragrance World, I would say really it kind of depends on the price. So if you're getting it for the price that I paid for it, the Mahogany Woods, which was it was less than $25 for this 100 ml bottle. I believe it was like $22 or something like that. And this was online that I bought it. If you can get it for that price, then I would say it may be worth buying over the Fragrance World. The Fragrance World version, Hardwood, I think from fragrancebuy.ca, the base price of it is like slightly over $30. So maybe like $31, $32, something like that. And then you have to pay like the $14 shipping or something. So this one ends up coming out to be, over $40 pretty much when it's all said and done. Whereas this one, like I said, I paid like $22, and then with shipping it came out to be like $31, something like that. I would say that this is going to be worth it at that price. Now, if this is, because I believe on the back of this box it shows that I guess the full retail price of this is $44.95, the Mahogany Woods. So if it's at that price, $44.95, then I would say at that point it probably would make more sense for you to just get the hardwood, because even though I'm saying that this fragrance smells better than the hardwood, I would say it's not by like a super significant margin to the point where, you know, it would justify paying significantly more for this fragrance than, you know, what you would pay for this one. All right. So it just all kind of depends, I would say. But either way, man, I would say both fragrances you can't really go wrong with when it comes to, you know, kind of like those fall and wintertime fragrances that are really kind of, you know, ambery, sweet, but at the same time, I would say definitely pretty masculine as well. Both of these are really good choices. I would just say for right now, in terms of what I'm smelling between the two fragrances, this one seems to be slightly richer when it comes to the vanilla, the cognac, and the amber, I would say for sure. All right, so that's my take on Mahogany Woods versus hardwood. Like I said, performance wise, this is going to give you better projection, better longevity. Well, I would say the longevity is about the same pretty much. Like I said, these both gave me about 8 hours. So longevity is going to be the same, but the projection for sure is going to be, I would say, in my opinion, or at least on my skin anyway, much better than what I was getting with hardwood. So if that's something that you care about, then I would say definitely go with the Mahogany Woods for sure. All right. So if we're kind of comparing these two on like a scale from 1 to 100, I would say that hardwood, when compared to this new formulation of Mahogany Woods, is going to be at least about 90% close, I would say, pretty much to Mahogany Woods. And if I'm going to rate this on a scale from 1 to 10, you know, just comparing it as an overall clone to Mahogany Woods, I would say that hardwood is a solid, like I would say 9 out of 10 pretty much. It's extremely close. It just sits a little bit closer to the skin in terms of its projection, and its richness is not as good as what you get with the original. All right. So that's definitely something to consider if you're looking at which one of these you actually want to buy. All right. So that's my take on Mahogany Woods and pretty much comparing it to Fragrance World's hardwood. Let me know what you all think about these two fragrances in the comments below. Definitely let me know, you know, if you smelled this newer version of Mahogany Woods, and also if you've, you know, smelled or owned the hardwood version from Fragrance World. Do you kind of agree that these do definitely have some differences in terms of smell and projection and stuff like that? So let me know in the comments below. And also, if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And again, that's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see y'all in the next video.